So this is how they followed up one of their pay-per-views, huh? With this Friday night primetime television offering. That's the word I'll use for now. I'm John Redden with my review of AEW Dynamite. This was the post Double or Nothing show. Couple notes though, they are taping Dynamite for the next couple weeks, over the next day or two. If you find out the spoilers, don't put them in the comments. Talk to me on Twitter if you want. I'm very active on Twitter. Talk to me in DM. And I'm not going to mention them here until the Dynamite episodes happen because of the NBA playoffs. They're going to be having Dynamite on Fridays for the next couple of weeks. And a special June 26th Saturday night edition, WCW Saturday Night returns for one night only. Hopefully not. Hopefully, they have better matches than that, even though WCW Saturday Night for a while did have good matches. But let's have enough retro stuff. There will be plenty of retro stuff to talk about in this review, which is a bit of a spoiler about how I felt about some of it. And then they're going to be resuming their normal, weekly shows and touring schedule pretty soon after that. And hopefully they can draw some big crowds. And the wrestlers can feed off of that. And AEW can, really have a big tour. Anyway, there were some moments on the show I didn't mind. And there were quite a few moments where I was like, wow, they are really phoning this fucking shit in. Speaking of phoning it in, the Insuffer Bucks with Brandon Cutler, the Good Brothers, Home of the Good Brothers, Maybe We Take Your Order, and Don Scarlet Fever Callis, who joined commentary. They took on Pac and Pacta, which sounds like an off-brand foot cream. And first we have to hear that Phoenix was taken out by the Bucks and Cutler, and maybe the Good Brothers, Home of the Good Brothers, Maybe We Take Your Order. Maybe Don Callis' invisible hand got some, rising Phoenix fever, like the Scarlet Fever. No, I'm not going to forget that. Karma's going to get that stupid little ballless bitch one of these days. So anyway, Kazarian attacks Nakazawa, which is fitting because Nakazawa means absolutely nothing. He's the elite killer in the Good Brothers, Home of the Good Brothers, Maybe We Take Your Order. Keep saying that because you know what? Good Burger was funnier than the Good Brothers could ever hope to be. And they chase him off, and then we get a jump start car crash. The Bucks are not nearly as funny or as good as they think they are. And this is coming from somebody that has praised the Bucks in the past when they've had good matches, great matches even. That match that they had with Page and Omega at AEW Revolution last year. And then Strong Style Evolved, and they've had other stuff. I didn't love everything they did with the Lucha Bros, but they were certainly car crashes. They were certainly spectacles. They're capable of putting on good stuff. They're just not nearly as good as they think they are, in my opinion. So, yeah, Pac nearly got his face caved in. This was just video game shit after a while. I don't really buy the Bucks. The Bucks are easy to hate because they're despisable creatures outside the ring. Stupid birthers and goddamn bullshit artists, but at least some people like them. So I guess that counts for something. I do like Pac and Penta. Met Penta a couple years ago, rather, at an indie show. Great guy. Really, really nice guy. Mr. Scarlet Fever talks about his invisible hand being everywhere. Jeez, why don't you say you got away with it, you goddamn stupid son of a bitch? Karma's going to get you one of these days, Callis, and you're going to be ostracized, blacklisted from wrestling, and nobody's going to have any sympathy for you, you stupid bitch. So anyway, apron bumps. Why? Why the fuck not? So the mask gets taken off, but oh no, Penta has a second mask. He determined that this was going to happen. It's like, haha, double mask for me. And then Knox is an idiot. I'm not even saying as a person, just as a referee, this guy is an idiot. Black Arrow, but he gets broken up. There were a lot of late near falls here because some people weren't quite in the right position. Cutler hits a camera to Pac and then a Pac stack, if you will. 1, 2, 3. So thanks for coming, Pac. Good job there. Beat down, and then Eddie Kingston comes down because, after all the stuff that he had done and repaired his friendship with Moxley by, trying to justify the exploding barbed wire deathmatch sparkler system, he's like, hey, I tried to split the Lucha Bros up and the whole thing with Pac and Death Triangle, so let me just make amends. Well, he justifies it a little bit later. So then we get Shivani interviewing Mark Henry. So, okay, I love Mark Henry, love Big Show, I love a lot of these guys, but you know what? AEW is quickly becoming the WWE retirement home. WWE's got its own problems with a lot of youth and everything, and there are a lot of talents that are coming up that are not going to be ready for a while. I don't have a problem with them having commentators that add analysis and everything, but it's like you're signing all these people to big money contracts. Mark Henry shouldn't have even been wrestling in 2016. Why would we want to see him wrestle in 2021? And why would we want to see Paul White wrestle in 2021? Nothing against these guys who have had great careers. Despite all the injuries, Mark Henry's had a great career, but he says, I'm not here to fix AEW. AEW ain't broken. I'm not saying WWE ain't dire. Trust me, WWE's got way more problems. Despite all the money they're making, I think AEW will draw bigger crowds than WWE will, especially depending on the buildings they run. But AEW's got some problems, and the foundation's starting to crack a little bit. So anyway, he's going to be part of the Rampage, or he's just, maybe he's going to be playing the Dwayne Johnson role in the Rampage 2 Electric Boogaloo sequel. And then Vicky interrupts. So apparently this became SmackDown 2007, 2008. She's the GM, kicks him out. So thanks for coming, Mark Henry. Can we just bring Eddie back and send Vicky there? Because seriously, I would rather have had Eddie here. My God. Vicky is so fucking annoying. And I mean, not even annoying like, oh, I want to see her get beat up. Like, no. This is the same shtick she was doing 10 fucking years ago, and it was annoying then. So anyway, here's Andrade. Okay, Andrade's apparently going to face Kenny Omega for the AAA Championship at some point. Okay. Maybe Andrade will not be defending, Alberto El Patron. I really hope that Instagram post he put up wasn't him defending that piece of shit, because if he was, then Andrade's an idiot for that. But let's say he wasn't. He wants to be the face of AEW. He doesn't need a manager. His English is fine. His English has improved. Him and Charlotte, they seem like a happy couple. I'm sure that, and he was taking lessons. He was doing great in WWE, but they never gave him enough time to show what he could say. He was doing fine, even with Zelina, now Tia Trinidad as his manager. He can talk fine. And Vicky is not going to be the kind where, she's not doing wonders for Nyla, who can talk. She ain't going to do wonders for Andrade. Get Zelina there. Zelina ain't signed by WWE again. Get her there. Just get her there. Pay her to, $250,000 a year, because she could outwork half the goddamn women's roster that they have, all due respect to them. And she could manage Andrade, and it would be great. So anyway, we then get Cody's ego-stroking entrance. I hope Andrade is not signed to AEW. Have him make appearances. Have him go where he wants to go. Have him work in New Japan, do some stuff, but don't have him commit anywhere for a while. But am I going to say, oh, it's all shit? No. I'm just not going to say, oh, it's the greatest thing ever because he's in another company. I'm not going to be like that. I hope for the best. Cody's ego-stroking entrance. Cody and Lee Johnson with Arn versus QT Marshall and Anthony Monster Ogogo. And, okay, they're desperate to get this feud over. I don't care. It's hard for me to care about Cody's matches. Ogogo did hit a nice frog splash. It looked like he just blasted Cody right in the goddamn face. That's what Cody gets for trying to make a January 6th inspired promo, if you know what I mean. And then we get a cutter, and oh no, Jesus, we just get this we get like a bullshit finish here. We get Solo distracting, and Ogogo with one punch knocks him out. QT covers him for the win. Okay, Ogogo hit him with how many punches at the pay-per-view? Gut punches and whatever. Didn't knock him out. One punch here knocks him out. They're booking this whole damn thing backwards, and Ogogo has potential. Even with the injuries, even with the eye surgeries he's had, and even with, being something that would normally end somebody's career, he's bound and determined to make this work, and I hope he can make this work. But seriously, this is not good. Giving QT the victory, does anybody care about QT? This is nothing against the man himself. Nobody cares about this factory feud. It's not good. It may be the worst feud in AEW. It's probably not the worst feud in wrestling because it doesn't involve anything with, supernatural bullshit like in another company. But goddamn, this wasn't good. And then, I'm glad that Ogogo got his punch back over, but he could have, had he won at the pay-per-view, it probably would have been better since he's a babyface in all this. And then, Jesus, recaps of the Stadium Stampede. Let's hear it for the Judas. And then, you are treasonous on the inside. You are insurrection personified. When Jericho addresses the fact that his wife and mother-in-law were part of the January 6th attempts, I will gladly drop that. No, I won't. Because I'm not going to fucking care. If I lose viewers over this, I don't fucking care. I really don't. There are certain things I will not let go. And there are certain things, donating money to a guy that has so many goddamn assault cases against him. Legit assault cases. And you're going to donate money to that and then claim that you support women. No, you fucking don't, you fucking monster. So fuck you goddamn drunk Jericho ass. Super spreader event Jericho. Spread it over, man. Anyway, why is this feud still going with the Pinnacle? It will never be over, Ole Anderson. Los Inner Circle Coricos is what I kept calling them because they were dressed like Los Peruicos. Where was Savio Vega when we needed him? Do they have Savio Vega as an agent? These are serious questions. Hager challenged Wardlow to an MMA fight. Who thought giving Wardlow, to Hager was a good idea? Because Hager has no personality and no mic skills and everything, and Wardlow needs somebody better to work with. Hager, for all his potential, has never really lived up to it. So, all right. In 2 weeks, by the way, that's going to be taped. Jericho is going to beat MJF or beat him off. Who the hell knows? He's going to scarf it up, man. Yeah, it will never be over Ole Anderson. They're really trying to channel this dusty Ole Anderson stuff. If they had built up to Blood and Guts happening in Chicago and had some matches and it had Stadium Stampede and say the Pinnacle had won that, but they hadn't done the stipulation, and they did these stipulation matches and stuff like that and built this up, and they had it where they had another team thing and maybe Inner Circle won something like a big street fight or whatever. And then you built up the Blood and Guts happening. And you had happened in front of a sold-out crowd and the Inner Circle won. And you didn't do the crash pad stuff. You didn't do any of that. If you had built it up right, you could have done something here, even with Jericho being well past his prime. None of his New Japan matches after the Wrestle Kingdom 12 match with Omega were any good, in my opinion. The one with Tanahashi was mainly due to the fact that Tanahashi is so over, people will overlook that Tanahashi's knees are shot. There is nothing that Jericho can do to really make me interested in this. He's cutting good promos, but I don't care about him anymore. Best Alien Friends, talk about the three-way. Well, what do you think happened? All this stuff. Why did they let Chuck Taylor talk? Let Statlander talk. I mean, seriously, she would have been the better promo out of all four of them. Omega doesn't know how to talk, dress, or sing. He tries to sing Tarzan Boy. Who knows where Callis' invisible hand had been at that point. Marvez was the best talker out of anybody here in this segment. This isn't good comedy. I don't care. Tarzan Boy and singing and stuff like that from the crowd because it's Cage and Jungle Boy, Cage Boys. It sounds like something that Hager... Hey, I know actually how Wardlow could beat Hager. Have a non-white kid outside the cage because Hager, like all Proud Boys, believes that, minority children belong in cages. How about you hold the kid outside the cage? He'll get confused and Wardlow can knock him out. Anyway, they took on... So Christian Cage, the good... Well, that's not fair. Brian Cage isn't that bad. It's the other Page that I have a problem with. Cage and Jungle Boy versus Private Party. Remember when Private Party mattered? Like, genuinely, they haven't mattered to me in a while. And they're good, but I just don't care about them. Nothing against them being heels, but just with Matt Hardy, it's just not good. Cage is down. It's a good thing, though, that since Luchasaurus is out, they had a spare dinosaur to team with Jungle Boy. Ha ha. And hot tag, and it was messy, but Jungle Boy tried to make it work, and all these guys are good athletes. Christian is on very borrowed time. He's got 1 year in the ring. And snare trap on Quinn for the win. Matt then lays out Cage on the stage. Hooray! We're revisiting a feud that wasn't any good in 2009. And wouldn't have been any... whatever. So Team Taz talks about Cage and Hobbs. Brian Cage and Hobbs, by the way. And says, hey, Paige, pick one member of the Dark Order to face us next week. I want you to remember that stipulation. Because then we get Sting and Darby in the ring. You still got it. Sting's talking about how he was thrilled to be there and everything. And then... the other Page, Ego Page as it is, and Scorpio Sky are cutting a promo near pet kennels. What the hell was that about? And they said, hey, Darby, you team with the Icon. Why don't you find somebody other than the Icon to team with us and prove that you can do it on your own? Okay, so we just had Taz say, Page, find another partner. Now Darby, find another partner. Who books this shit? Who formats this shit? Oh, right, the guy on the Herb Abrams diet. That's what it is. So... Britt Baker has a celebration with Nyla and a bunch of cheeseburgers and everything and a bunch of people like the Pretty Picture or the Wingman, the Dolph Twin, and Luther. Why is Luther there? Genuinely, why is he there? And Helico and whatever. She kept trying to heal it up, tried to be kind of like Austin after, the King of the Ring thing, or more recently like Becky Lynch when she tried to heal it up and the crowd wasn't having it. The crowd... There were some crowds, there were parts of the crowd that were booing her because it wasn't a sold-out crowd, but there were enough people cheering her. They're going to try to turn the tide, and it's not going to work. She's going to have to be a tweener. Now, I'm not saying that Bray can't pull off being a heel, but she's going to have to be a tweener. So she heals it up. Nyla eventually gets pissed and just tosses the meat and leaves. Beat the meat, toss the meat, pops the balloons. Nyla was the most over thing about this. Well, after Britt, having a whole lot of fun. Britt versus Nyla could be fun. Kingston and Pakta yell at each other, and hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then the Bunny with Blade versus Red Velvet with Kylan King and Swole. It should have been Kylan King. And now, you know what? That's unfair, actually. I like Red Velvet. At least it wasn't Swole. Swole, who has good personality and isn't all that great in the ring. Kylan King has a future. Blade had a messy flesh apron there. Velvet nearly crashed on a goddamn dive. I swear, if she didn't get a stinger in her neck, I will be amazed. I hope she didn't. That was scary. She's got sauce all on her. Gee, JR phrasing. We had an awkward distraction thing because Allie's been using a loaded fisting to fist other women to victory. And we get the high kick, 1, 2, 3. So Velvet gets the victory. Uno then challenges Miro for a TNT Championship match. And Miro accepts and also says his wife is really hot. Lana, who just got released and will probably be in AEW I would say by August. No, by All Out. I think by All Out is when she'll show up. That's fine. Have her show up. Her and Miro would be a good pair. They were a good pair when they were Rusev and Lana in WWE. And they billboarded some matches that really, quite frankly, belong on Dark, in all honesty, for next week. Dustin with versus Nick Comoroto bull rope match. And oh boy, Nick can work. He can. And Dustin gave him a lot and really desperately tried hard to get this going. It wasn't bad. It was not main event material. I'm sorry, it wasn't. You really should have put the first match on in the main. Just the way it was formatted, it was what it was. I mean, I'm glad Dustin main evented a show in 2021, but whatever. Del Sol basically tries to attack Comoroto after he shoves him, pie faces him in the crowd. And then he gets thrown off. And we got some blood. Oh, mother of blood. And then we got a table bump. Table just practically shatters. We get like a kick out from the final reckoning at 1. And then we get a bulldog and he gets hog-tied. Comoroto does 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Dustin Rhodes gets the victory. I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know why we're supposed to care about the factory. Maybe they're just destroying this whole goddamn thing. They're going to have a Go-Go versus Cody a couple more times. Maybe a Go-Go goes over or Cody beats him 3-0. That's more likely. This show was kind of messy. I don't really care for it. So because of, the super spreader Bucks, I'm just going to put them right there. Actually, no, they're the Insuffer Bucks. That's it. It's super spreader Jericho. Moving on. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.